Welcome to Savor the Story podcast, where books and snacks are life. I am Vanessa.
And I'm Nicole.
And this is episode 2.
Yes, we made it.
We have finally made it past our first week of posting.
Hurrah! I feel like a lot of work went into episode 0 and 1, so the fact that we're on 2 finally is enormously happy.
I know. I hope people stick around and we have maybe some new listeners for episode 2.
Right,
welcome.
Yes, welcome. Happy you're here.
Yes. So this week we actually saw each other quite a bit because we saw each other at work. You didn't skip out on work this week.
I came all 2 days that was required of me.
Yes, you did. And we also had a work baseball game on Thursday, so we got to do some extra hanging out this week. And the husbands got to come.
Yeah, and so that just makes it like another level.
That's right.
Of crazy.
That just makes it to where there's more alcohol involved.
Exactly.
Yes, more alcohol, and which is also interesting for like a work outing because, you know, all of the big bosses are there and our husbands are just getting drunk.
Party.
That's right. Yes, it was a good time though.
I will say though that Tim had them like feeding out of the palm of his hand because of all his running adventures.
Yeah. Yeah, even the CEO came over and was chatting it up, and they were talking about all Tim's ultra running.
Yeah. So
just all the things.
So
did you do anything else this week?
No.
Besides hang out with me?
No, that's what my life is, Vanessa. So
I know.
No, it just we did some other stuff. Our son is home this week between semesters at college, so we've been trying to pack a whole like as much time into hanging out with him as possible, which means like a lot of cooking and like,
right, because he's tired of having to eat the cheap food at college.
Right. I think when he came in, he was like, I don't want to look at another ramen noodle forever. And I was like, so, okay. So, yeah.
That's sad, too. Only a year into college, and he's already ready to give up ramen.
I know. It didn't take that long. So,
no.
Yeah, so we've been hanging out with him, and we went and saw a movie together, and we went, had coffee and like stuff like that. So, which I'm always down for coffee. Not so much movies, but I'm definitely always down to go get coffee. So,
what did you guys go see?
Twisters.
Oh, I was like, what? There's a second movie I didn't know about?
No.
Oh,
so
I was shocked.
I know. So I can't remember if I said it in episode 1 or not, but when me and my sister went to go see a movie, I didn't tell you in episode 1.
You did not mention him.
Yeah.
No.
Me and my sister last weekend went and saw Twisters. And so when me and Ethan went and saw Twisters again, look at me go. All these movies.
You went to the movies twice when you hate going to the movies, and you saw the same movie.
Yes.
Was it because he was jealous? He wanted to see it too?
No. It was just like go and hang out and do something together, and that movie just happened to be the one that fit our like time frame. So, and he's never seen it. We walked out and he looks at me and he's like, so was it like Twister the movie? And I was like, you've never seen the first one and I made you go see the second one? Ethan, so sorry. So I feel like I owe it to him to watch the original Twister. But I don't know if I want to.
You could watch it in the background as you do something else.
Yeah, I could do that. I'm sure I could find something to do while he's playing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just so shocked that you went to the movies twice within like a week span.
I know.
Don't know what to do with that information.
I know. It really happens like that, you know, like everything happens and then it'll be like 3 years before I go and see another movie. So,
yeah.
At least.
Or you're forced into it.
Right. Here's hoping. Like,
yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Well, we already know that you're going to go see one at the end of the year because you and your sister.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to tell them about your next book with your sister?
Yes. So I have another sister read. Okay. And while we were in the movie theater, the stuff was playing beforehand, the like previews,
trailers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the trailers were playing for the next movies, and Wicked was on there. And so we were both like, looked at each other and were like, have you ever read that? And we were like, no. And we were like, all right, well, we should read that. And then we were like, well, I guess we could go see the movie when it comes out. And I was like, oh, great, another movie. So much fun. And then you were like, isn't that a 2-part movie? And I was like, shit, what did I...
Yes, I Googled it and it said that the one in November is part 1, so...
Oh, no. So, yeah, I unknowingly agreed to go see a 2-part movie, which...
You're gonna hit your quota so fast.
I know. It's like, whatever. I guess
you better hope that I don't find another movie to make you come to with me, like I did with the other one.
I feel like I'm okay with this. Like, I'm starting to become more okay with it as long as there's, like, the promise of, like, food before or after.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like...
I can absolutely promise that.
Like, probably after. That way I have something to look forward to if the movie's not good.
Yes. All right. That's, from now on, I will make sure that, like, I buy you some sort of snack afterwards for any movie that I force you to attend with me.
Fair.
That's great. I also didn't really have much else this week other than just work and working out and the baseball game. We had Abby had her appointment on Monday for her dental cleaning. So, you know, they have to be put under to do that. And so she's doing great though. She's her teeth are all clean, and she was a little wobbly for a couple hours after that, but she's good now. She's just got one little like bald spot on her arm where they had to shave for the IV, but so she looks a little silly, but she's all good. But yeah, other than that,
and she has fresh breath.
Yes, it's so much better. And then Tim and I went on a little date night last night too. It was like a last minute. I was tired of sitting in the house and I was like, I need to go somewhere and do something. So I just said, let's go to Target. So we went to Target and I bought some things, and then he wanted to go to REI. So we went to REI and bought some things. And then he was like, I don't want to eat food at home. So we had a little date night out on a rooftop restaurant. Nice. It was really nice. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to get the name of that place from you.
Yeah, it's actually try it. Okay, so the food was pretty good. The service was fucking terrible.
Oh.
So Tim went there before with a couple of his friends, and he said they did not have the same problem. He said he even had the same waiter.
Oh, wow.
As we had, and it was not a problem. But we literally sat down and waited like 20 minutes before we even got water.
Oh, wow.
And then waited another 15 minutes before they came over and asked us if we wanted anything else. And we were like, I guess we'll order. And then my dinner came out, and I literally ate my entire dinner before his dinner showed up.
Oh no.
Like, that's how long it took. And so the drinks were good, the food was pretty good, but if that is the way the service is all the time, I would never recommend it.
Okay.
But to be fair, so I guess they were saying that they usually get pretty busy. It's like right across the street from the baseball field. And whenever there's games, I guess they get really busy because people go there and like pregame. And so whatever, that's local talk, but
Fair enough.
but yeah, it was good. We had a little date night, and then we came home and watched the Olympics. So yeah, did you eat any delicious snackies this week?
Well, kind of going back to the fact that our son is home, I would say I don't want to say like snacky, like more snackies, but definitely like falling back into habits that we had before where like, you know, that we ate while he was home. Cause like I said in episode 0, I'm a vegetarian, and once Ethan left for college, I was basically just cooking as a vegetarian for both me and my husband. And now that he's back, I have to go like, how do I cook a chicken again?
Right.
What am I doing here? So it's been a lot of that. And then I would say, though, we've also had a lot of DQ.
Okay.
Because every time we're like sitting there, like watching the Olympics or something like that, we're like, does anybody want DQ? And my son's like, I'll go. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Which is what stops me and Mike from going and getting DQ. So we're like, do you want to drive? And the other person's like, no.
Yeah, exactly. And now that he's home, it's like, oh, now I don't have to do anything and I still get ice cream? Great.
Exactly. Right. So I've probably had like 3 banana splits this week because that's my favorite from DQ. And then
okay,
at the game, me and you also had...
We had Dippin' Dots!
Yay! Man, it's been like 20 years since I've had Dippin' Dots.
Yeah, so. It's been a very, very long time for me. I used to get them every time I went to Six Flags Magic Mountain, which is in Southern California. If you don't know, I guess I never said that in the first episode, that we both live in Ohio. And you did mention that you were originally from Detroit area, but right. I guess I never said that I am from Southern California. Anyway, so Dippin' Dots was a main staple for me anytime I went to Magic Mountain. So it was like some flashbacks for me. It was delicious.
Yeah. I forget. Like I said, it's been like 20 years, so I kind of forgot how great they were and how fast they melt.
Did you ever? I know. Did you ever get Dippin' Dots out of those machines that are in the malls?
I've never seen that.
You've never seen them?
No, I feel like I need to go to a mall now. Do they still exist?
I haven't seen one in a long time. I feel like they went out probably like 10 years ago, but they used to have them in malls where you could just go and get a little cup of Dippin' Dots, like a vending machine.
Huh. I'm gonna start looking out for these things.
You should, but yes. I know I've seen them in some malls and in Vegas, I want to say.
All right, road trip.
Sure.
All right, so we're going to have to plan a Dippin' Dots adventure once we find out where all the other ones are. But
Yes, we are. And on top of my Dippin' Dots this week, which I considered making my rating this week, but I have to make it something else. Okay. Because Target they have this brand called Favorite Day. And I don't know if it's more than just like candies and chocolates and stuff like that, but I know specifically they have one. They're milk chocolate sea salt caramels.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
And, oh my goodness, they're delightful. And the serving size is 3 of them. So every day I've been eating 3 of them. And I hide them in my room because if I leave them out, Tim will eat them all in one day. So they're hidden in my room, and which means that they last me a long time. So I'm almost done with the bag, and I've had it for a week now. So, yes. Anyway, my sea salt milk chocolate caramels are going to be my rating this week.
Nice. As soon as you were like, this is my rating this week, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. That's true. I am going to rate all my books in banana splits.
Oh, good choice.
So.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Do you want to go over your books first?
Sure.
Okay.
I read 2 books this week. Okay. Well, I finished 2 books this week. So the first one was Tempest of Tea. I have so many things, so many thoughts.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that this book was not a good book, but I also wouldn't say it was a great book. It was like Ocean's 11 vibes, where there's like a heist, and there's vampires, and...
There's vampires?
There's vampires. So...
Okay.
Yeah, the book is like this girl, she owns like a tea shop, but because she lives in a world that there's also vampires, she has like a secret part of the tea shop where she also like serves blood to these vampires. Okay. And so that's kind of like the whole spiel, and she finds out she's gonna lose her tea shop. So the whole heist is her and her crew trying to, save her tea shop. And that's kind of where, like, vampires, Ocean's 11, blah, blah, blah. Like, the first third of the book was slow. It was like, we're planning the heist, it's like slow world building. We're introducing all these characters.
Okay.
And then the second third of the book is like, maybe not even the third, but it was like the actual heist, which was okay. I mean, it was good. And then the third, so the last third of the book is like what happens after the heist.
Okay.
And that's the most interesting part, where you actually learn, some more about some more of the characters. It sets you up for the second book because, surprise, this is a duology. So, yeah.
Did you know that going in?
No.
Oh,
I did not. So I was kind of like, how you get to like the last like 200 pages or the last 100 pages and you're like, shouldn't they be wrapping this up by now? And then you're like, this has to be there has to be a second book. Yep. That's what it was. And it ended on like a wild cliffhanger. So that's what I'm going with. So
Are you going to read the second one?
I don't know. So I probably will.
Okay.
But I don't know, some of the way they have of like talking, like the characters have of talking, was not like a huge like fan of. It kind of made it like more like difficult to follow. So I read this book. I could not even imagine if you were trying to listen to this book, like if it was just one person doing the dialogue. I couldn't even imagine what that would be like. So
because there's a lot of characters.
There's a lot of characters, and there's just like, they have like that old, like a different way of talking where everything's like fast talking and like they're switching topics fast and stuff like that. So it was kind of, like I said, a little bit hard to follow.
Okay.
But my second book that I finished this week was called Impact, and it's by Greg Brenica, and it's a book.
It's sounding like the title sounds familiar to me, so I'm waiting to hear what it's about.
You might have seen it.
Okay.
It's a book about meteors.
Okay. like an actual like school book?
Nope. It's
okay.
It's like a I don't want to call it a history because that's not what it is, but like a natural science book.
Okay.
And so this book it went about how you would expect a book about meteors to go.
Okay.
And it's about as interesting. So it's written, I listened to it at like 1.5 speed, and it was about perfect. If you listen to it any slower, I could see it being like, oh my gosh. I listened to this book, so there's a couple parts that I really enjoyed. I like the author at one point is explaining how they figure out how fast the sun was spinning like 2 million years ago.
Okay.
And he's like, so you do these things, you start with this, the size of the sun, and you're doing these things. And to quote the author, he's like, and then math, 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 words, words, words. Here, that's how we figure out how fast the sun was spinning. And I was
Great,
like,
that's so helpful.
It's like, thank you. Okay. But The first 4 chapters was like a lot of stuff about what you already know about meteors, like, oh, they killed the dinosaurs, they're always flying around, like stuff like that. Chapter 5 was really interesting. I've really enjoyed like the chemistry aspect. After like 6 and beyond, it's like how you find meteors and what kind of like scientific equipment they use to study them and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say the whole book is like, like I said, it's about how you expect a book about meteors to be. There's not like a huge amount of knowledge out there, so it felt like he was stretching it a little bit, but yeah.
Did you learn things?
I did.
Okay.
I did learn some stuff, so sometimes when I listen to books like that, I'm like, this could be like a challenge question or something. Yeah, if I'm ever in charge of making like a trivia night or something. But
and how many banana splits do you give it?
Oh, I forgot to do banana splits for both. Ugh. Okay,
no.
So I am not on top of it this week. Okay, Tempest of Tea, 3 banana splits.
Okay.
That's very generous, 3 banana splits.
Okay.
Impact, 3.5 banana splits.
Okay.
Banana cut long ways.
All right. I like how specific that is.
Yes. So, before you do yours, I have to say one thing.
Okay.
I don't consider it a DNF yet.
Okay.
But I had almost DNF. We'll call it a save for later.
Okay.
So those who don't know me, which is everybody on this podcast, everyone listening to this podcast, you don't know this about me, but I don't like to DNF books right away. I will, if I think I'm going to DNF a book, I will actually set it to the side. Because what if I come back later? What if my mood changes and I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like, no, I'm willing to give this a try again. So I can't just DNF a book. So I set it to the side. It's on my list of possible DNFs. And then at the end of the year, I'm probably going to have like a pretty significant part of one of our episodes. Probably our end of year wrap-up episode is going to be like, and here's all the books that I DNF'd, and this is why I did it.
Right. So, and that'll be when you make the final decision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So.
Great. All right. Well, I also did 2 this week. Both of them were listens for me, though. I did start a Kindle Unlimited book, but I did not get far enough along to talk about it or anything, so it'll have to be a finish for next week. So I won't even talk about what it is. But I'm only like 20 or 30 pages into it, and I'm liking it. I just literally ran out of time of being able to sit down and read. So I got 2 listens in. So the first one is 2 Sides to Every Murder by Danielle Valentine. And this is my sister book club book that we did together. We actually haven't even talked about it yet, so I don't know how she feels about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear back from her. She said she was going to finish it this weekend, so maybe I'll see if later today she'll be ready to talk to me about it. But I rated it 3.5 sea salt caramels. How do you say it? How would you say it?
Caramels?
Caramel. I say caramel too, but when I read it, I said caramel. So I don't know if it's a visual thing or I don't know. So 3.5 caramels. So 2 Sides to Every Murder is about obviously a murder that happens in this little town, and it's like an infamous murder at this camp, like this summer camp. And one of the girls goes because she finds out some things in her life, like her dad is not her biological dad and stuff like that. And her family owns the camp. And so she feels like maybe some of the answers to finding that, like, information about her family is going to be at the camp.
Okay.
And then there's another girl who comes in, and her mom was actually suspected of the murder that happened there 17, 20 years ago. I can't remember exactly how long ago it was. And so she's going to the camp to find out some information maybe about the murder, to see if maybe her mom actually wasn't the person who killed the people that died. And so the whole book is about these 2 girls. They like meet up at the camp, and you find out about their stories and how they relate to each other throughout the whole thing. I liked it, but I don't know that I loved it. So, I mean, that's kind of clear with the 3.5, right? It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. I would say the writing was really good. Pacing of it was really good. Like the whole time I kind of had this edge of anxiety, like what's going to happen? Who's going to find out what when? And so like that part of it was good. The pacing was really good for it, but I just didn't fully love it. Gotcha. So there was also a couple of things that I figured out pretty quickly, which kind of makes the enjoyment a little lower. Like I like to be shocked by a twist at the end or something, you know? Right. And I feel like I figured out a couple of the things pretty early. So yeah, I don't know if I really have like too much more to say about it because it's like a mystery thriller. I feel like too much information would give it away.
Too spoilery.
And I clearly don't want to do that. The second one I listened to was Happy Place by Emily Henry. So I'm going to start by saying I'm very late to the Emily Henry game. Like, so she's like a romance author, and she's got a bunch of books out there. And I actually have a couple on my shelf that I've never read. And the book I listened to was neither of the ones that I have on my shelf. So it's included on, if you have Spotify Premium, Happy Place is included in that. So you can listen to it for free, basically. And I only picked it because I was about to mow the yard. And usually that takes me about an hour, a little over an hour to do that. And so usually I like to listen to a podcast, and I didn't have any that were that long. So I just randomly like was scrolling through Spotify to see what was included, and Happy Place was there. So I loved it. I gave it 5 sea salt caramels.
What?
Yes, it's a 5-star for me. So one of our friends from work, David, his wife we had talked about Emily Henry before, and I'm pretty sure she told me that the like most widely known best book of Emily Henry is Happy Place. I'm pretty sure it's this one. And okay. So when I saw it, I was like, okay, we'll start here. And if she was right, then great, because I loved it. But now I'm scared to like go on to her other ones.
That's what I was about to ask you. Yeah. I hate when I read a book and I'm like, and then I look at the reviews and they're like, this is the best one, and I'm like, no, why did I start with this one?
Yeah, I even looked it up, and I like Googled what are the best Emily Henry books, and for the most part, Happy Place was number 1. So,
oh dang.
But I really, really loved it. Okay, so it's about this group of friends that some of them met in college, and then other ones are like spouses or couple or whatever. Like they're not spouses, but part of the significant others. And so they usually have like this annual retreat that they go to. But one of the couples broke up and didn't tell anyone. They didn't want their friends, like there's some reasons, but they hadn't told their friends yet, and it's been like months. But because none of the friends knew, they both ended up showing up at this retreat, this annual thing. And so the whole book is about going back and forth between like you find out how they met, you find out how they got together, and then you also kind of, it's like a flashback and forth where it's like present day and the past, and you kind of figure out what went wrong and then how they're dealing with it now. It's really good because, and what made me love it a lot is because kind of touched on all kinds of relationships. Like it was about friendships, romantic relationships, like all the things, family relationships. There was just like so much detail about all of those things. The entire book, I had this like feeling in my heart of like being on the verge of crying.
Oh, wow.
Like the whole time for happy and sad reasons. And then there was actually one part where I was literally just like sitting there crying, like
Oh, wow.
not being able to hold back. So that happened. And even with all the tears, I 100% recommend this book to anyone who enjoys romance books or like whatever. It's so good. I don't know what else to say about it other than please go out and read it.
Well, you convinced me while you were telling me about it. I just added it to my Goodreads. So
yay! Yes, it's so good. And I'm actually now very excited to read some of her other stuff. Like, even if people say this is like her number one book, I still really enjoyed the writing. So I have a feeling that I will enjoy her other books. So I'm so happy I like randomly picked it. It was just so good. I just really loved it.
that's awesome.
So yeah.
Man, I love it when that happens.
Yes,
you get like a good
too.
5-star book when you're not expecting it. That's chef's kiss.
Yes, I agree. So thank you to Mickey who recommended it because it makes me very happy. And now I want to know what her second favorite Emily Henry book is because I will do that one next. So yeah, that's all my books this week. So are you ready for random discussion?
Yes.
All right. Ooh, this is a good one. I hope.
These make me so nervous.
What fictional world would you live in?
Do you already know?
Do you have one? So, okay. I don't know. I feel like my off the top of my head answer is immediately going to be Shadowhunters world because I just love them so much. And so I want to like go hang out with them. And there's like magic and stuff. Literally anywhere that has magic, I'm going to be there for sure. Harry Potter world sounds great because Hogwarts is cool and I would like to go to there. But I think I'm going to stick with Shadowhunters world. Man, do I want to go to the Fourth Wing world? Why not?
Nobody can
There's dragons.
Nobody can hear me shaking my head, but
Yes,
I don't
Nicole's
know.
shaking her head at me.
I don't know. I haven't finished the first book, so
Oh, that's right.
I mean, I'll give it to you that dragons sound cool, but the rest of it does not. Like, if you think about, like, not being a dragon person and yeah.
Like, you're not a dragon rider?
Right. I would be like one of, like, the kitchen workers. They'd be like, you go in the kitchen. And I'd be like, all right, well, shit.
So, okay, well, I guess that changes. Okay, so I would only want to be in the Fourth Wing world if I was a dragon rider. Because that would be really cool, and only want to be in the Shadowhunter world if I'm one of them. Like, I don't want to be in the world as like a human, like as a mortal person, right?
Yeah,
like,
I guess that's implied. That should be implied. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right. I want to be a Shadowhunter. I want to be one of the people, one of the cool kids.
Yeah. So I like I like the idea of fantasy because or like magic or dragons or like something like that, because I would want to have like a cool like ability or something like that, like Heartless Hunter or you know, like it would be cool to have like some kind of ability. So I would say probably any fantasy book where I got to have like a special ability because I just had it. Not like, you know, in like One Dark Window where everybody who has the magical ability has it because they have the card.
Right.
You know, like I don't want it to be something that like I can lose because I misplaced something. Like,
right.
I want to be able.
I would never have it.
Right. Like, I'd like always be forgetting it somewhere. So.
But, all right.
Yeah, I guess I would say A River Enchanted. I really liked the River Enchanted book series. You read that one too, right? Yeah, like you didn't?
No.
Oh, my sister. Oh, it was my sister who read that. But never mind. No, like I like the idea of that. Like you can put your magical ability into something else. So like and make that special. I like that. So I'm gonna say the River Enchanted series.
Okay.
Is where I would specifically go.
What's that other one we both did read, but you didn't read the second one? The second one is called Masquerade. Yeah, but what's the first one? Do you remember?
Garden of the Cursed.
Yeah, there we go.
I was going to say, my sister already would have had the answer. If she's listening, she's like shaking her head in her car right now. Like, what's wrong with you, Nicole? Sorry.
Yes, Garden of the Cursed. That kind of has... It's a similar idea where the magic is put into something else. Or actually, like, you have to have something extra for you to be able to use the magic, right? So, yeah, that world is out too then. Dang it. I just want to have magic.
I know. Or a dragon, apparently.
Yes. Well, technically in Fourth Wing, you would have both. You would have some sort of ability and... you would have a dragon.
Yeah, as soon as you have your dragon, yep.
Yeah.
That's fair.
This is also something that was in the Spark of the Everflames, was you have like your dragon or your whatever animal it is, and they can talk to you.
Like a familiar.
Like a familiar. I want to be in some sort of world where I can have that, because that would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I always say that. I always like sit there and I'm like, man, I wish I could talk to Remy, my puppy. Mm-hmm. But then I also think... Remy would only care. He would always be telling me, Mom, can I have a chicken strip? Like, are you going to share your food yet? Like,
right. Where's my food and where's my lovies?
Exactly. So I'll have to give some second thoughts to the idea of having a familiar. Because like in books, they're like smart alecky and like, snarky. And
right.
Like,
they always have sass.
Right. Like they're helping out and like stuff like that. But like, I don't know. I like the books where like they portray animals where it's just like, oh man, like the dog's always like ball. What's that Disney movie with the with the flying up? Yeah. That's how I imagine animals would be. If I got one. If I got an animal familiar, it would be that dog.
Right. Just that's all they're worried about.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be helping me with magical adventures.
Toy first.
That's right.
Like,
that's funny. All right. Well, go check out our Instagram, because on our Instagram stories, I will put a box in there for you to tell us what fictional world you would want to live in. And if there's any really good ones that I didn't think of, I'll just steal it and we'll talk about it in the next episode.
Exactly.
And then our Instagram is Savor the Story Pod. So go see us there. And then you can go to our website, savorthestorypod.com. And there is a form for you to fill out. And you can email us all of your thoughts about books and snacks.
Yes, specifically.
And specifically books and snacks. Sometimes
not
other things.
Not all your thoughts.
I mean, if you have a one that you would like to share with a stranger, please do. I will read it.
Mm-hmm. Make sure you put Vanessa's name on there.
That's right. Yes. Maybe I need to add that to the drop down. Like, Vanessa wants random thoughts. That'd be great. And then I will read them anonymously on the podcast. So that is it for episode 2. We've done it.
Yay.
Yes. We hope that you come back for the next one next week.
I feel like that's going to turn into our like end of podcast tagline is please come back. Please come back.
Just shameless begging.
Exactly. One more episode. Give us one more episode after this.
Yes. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.